Thank you for coming to our online webinar about grief. The purpose of this webinar is to learn about grief and how to practice self-compassion while you're grieving. You may pause and take a break from this webinar at any time, or feel free to stop watching if you need to. Student Wellness has many supports available if you feel you would like to talk to someone one-on-one. At the end of the video, there will be a resource slide giving you ways in which you can reach out for more support. In the last webinar, we spoke about mindfulness and how practicing mindfulness can help you through your feelings of grief. I encourage you to go back and watch that if you haven't already. Today, we will be talking about the concept of self-compassion and how it can be understood and applied throughout the grieving process. In order for compassion to be present, suffering comes first. We commonly think of compassion as a feeling for others. Today, we will be exploring self-compassion. Self-compassion is about recognizing and responding to your own suffering. Self-compassion can be challenging under any circumstance. To connect with your experiences, including grief, loss, and pain with self-compassion, you can start by tuning into yourself. Self-compassion involves noticing how you speak to yourself, how you respond to your thoughts and feelings, and doing so with the aim of taking care of you. Dr. Kristin Neff is the creator of a therapy model called self-compassion. The core components of self-compassion involve the following 3 elements. The first is a sense of kindness and care versus self-judgment. It involves asking yourself, are you being as kind to yourself as you would be to a friend? Self-kindness involves being gentle with yourself and treating yourself with understanding instead of being judgmental and critical. The second is a sense of common humanity versus isolation. It acknowledges that death is part of life. We all experience grief, yet the experience varies between people, and this might make you feel alone. Adopting a lens of common humanity involves recognizing your experience as part of the larger experience, one in which you aren't isolated, or don't view your experiences as abnormal. The third is mindfulness, which is allowing yourself to sit with your painful feelings, to notice the pain and acknowledge its importance. We as humans don't like to be with our suffering, and we use many mechanisms to avoid it. Self-compassion is about turning towards the suffering. Self-compassion is about being warm and accepting with ourselves even when we feel inadequate or when we suffer. Instead of turning away from pain or expecting yourself to do better and get over it, we instead can notice these thoughts and respond to ourselves gently. A self-compassionate approach requires the recognition that human beings are imperfect and that experiencing difficulties is inevitable. Self-compassionate people tend to be gentle and kind with themselves when they experience pain. They recognize that fighting against themselves or feeling critical towards themselves can make the suffering worse. Instead, self-kindness or self-compassion involves accepting your experiences, thoughts, and feelings with sympathy and kindness. Be it anger, remorse, or happiness when recalling a cherished memory. To practice this self-kindness, ask yourself, can I give myself permission to take care of me, to nurture me? How can I make me feel good? Try to comfort and soothe yourself when you're suffering, and acknowledge that you want to help yourself feel better too. As a way to cultivate self-kindness, tune into your self-talk with curiosity. As an exercise, imagine that someone you care about was experiencing your grief. Write a letter to yourself as if it was a close friend. It might help to ask yourself, how would I respond to a close friend? Or how would I comfort them? Common humanity is the idea that everyone will experience grief and loss. Yours just may have come a little bit earlier than those around you, and that can make you feel alone. Because all humans suffer, there's a powerful connection in the shared experience of suffering. Knowing that you are not alone is a powerful sense of connection when you acknowledge that others are suffering as you are. Self-compassion involves recognizing that humans often feel frustrated and angry when things don't go as planned. And this is often accompanied by a sense of isolation, as if I were the only person suffering or being imperfect. As stated by Dr. Kristin Neff, the definition of being human means that one is mortal, vulnerable, and imperfect. Therefore, self-compassion involves recognizing that suffering and personal inadequacy is a part of the shared human experience, something that we all go through rather than being something that just happens to me alone. When faced with suffering, we might ask, why me? And this can cut us off from others. We might have expectations that suffering and pain are not normal, but this isn't true. By connecting the human aspect of grieving, you might not feel as alone or feel as though there is something wrong or abnormal about you. You may have felt alone in your grief and felt that others couldn't relate to your pain, but many others feel this way, and there may be a possibility to connect with others with those feelings of isolation. Mindfulness is an open, noticing, receptive state where you can observe and notice your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It involves connecting with your current experiences and acknowledging any thoughts that come up. It's about noticing your experiences without judgment and without trying to change them. It involves being curious and open to allowing different feelings, including the painful ones. Ask yourself, can I let this hard feeling be here? We can only feel compassion for our pain when we are experiencing it, and then being gentle with ourselves about how challenging this can be. As a practice, instead of turning away from your pain, try turning towards it. Ask yourself, what does it feel like in my body when I turn towards my grief? When trying this, acknowledge how hard it can be. Coming back to your breath can help you connect to the present moment if you find your mind stuck in a thought or worry. Try to keep the spotlight on your body. Dr. Tara Brach, a psychologist and Buddhist meditator, developed the practice of rain, which involves recognizing and allowing and nurturing our internal experiences. In her book, she describes the power of acceptance. R is recognizing what's going on, the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are affecting us. To recognize, you can mentally whisper them by labeling and noticing what has come up. A is to allow the experiences to be there, just as it is. Allowing means letting the thoughts, emotions, feelings, or sensations we have recognized simply be there, without trying to fix or avoid anything. When self-judgment or a critical inner voice comes up, you can acknowledge that this judgment is here and notice the feelings in your body too. You might mentally whisper, yes, or it's okay. Notice and allow your feelings in the moment. I is investigate with care and interest. You can investigate with curiosity what's going on in your body. Try asking yourself, what most wants attention? How am I experiencing this in my body? What am I believing? What does this vulnerable place want from me? What does it most need? When investigating, do so in a non-judgmental and kind way so that you can honestly connect with painful feelings. N is nurture with self-compassion. Self-compassion comes up when you contact your pain. As described by Dr. Tara, to do this, try to sense what the wounded, frightened, angry, or hurting place inside you needs most. And then offer some gesture of active care that might address this need. Does it need a message of reassurance, of forgiveness, of companionship, of love? Experiment and see which intentional gesture of kindness most helps to comfort, soften, or open your heart. It might be the mental whisper, I am here for you, I am sorry, it is not your fault. As a way to be kind towards yourself in your experience of pain and grief, you can use the power of physical touch, gentle vocalization, and other strategies to soothe the body and in turn soothe the mind. Physical comfort is really missing right now because we can't be close to others in the way we normally would be. So the compassion has to come from inside, acknowledging the loss of supports that we normally have. Try gently placing a hand on the heart or on your belly. Ask yourself what words of comfort, soothing sounds, or messages do you want to share with yourself? Maybe this pain is important, this really hurts, or it's okay to be angry. You could also try envisioning yourself being surrounded by a warm, radiant light. In summary, self-compassion can play an important role in working through the feelings that come with grief. Self-kindness involves accepting your experiences, thoughts, and feelings with sympathy and kindness. Everyone experiences pain and suffering, and there is a connection in this common experience. While you may feel that no one understands your pain, you can be comforted by the fact that people go through the same grief, but their thoughts and feelings may be different. There are a variety of techniques to show your self-compassion, and this involves rain and physical comfort. Here are some further readings where you learn about self-compassion and how you can be more self-compassionate towards yourself. If you feel that you need more individual support, here help is available, and this slide contains information for wellness services and crisis lines available to University of Guelph students. Feel free to write these down and save them or screenshot them for later.